So the first time I met Cecily Bumbray, I was a senior in college, and I heard somebody singing "Sweet Thing," a cover by Shaka Khan, and it blew me away. She's so talented, and I got a chance to catch up with her and talk about her new album, Awakening Part 1, where she talks about her hit single "Clumsy" and the intention behind that song and all the other songs. And she even performs. So sit back, relax, and hear our conversation. She is definitely what's good, South Jersey. I want to jump right into this single of yours, "Clumsy."
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Now listen, you because you got some like bars. You have some lines in here that are like, oh, she's out here. Like, oh, she knows what she's doing out here. Or should I say, you don't know what she's doing, right? And then it's like, wow, it really lets me know that you're not like wet behind the ears. You're not green out here. Like it really lets me know that you've been out here. You may or may have not been dating, but it's like okay, you done picked up some things. You done got some wisdom. You done got some experience.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how did Clumsy get birthed to the world? Like how did that even come about?
I basically took quotes from different books. So the first one was Don Miguel Ruiz's The Mastery of Love. The second book that I used as inspiration for Awakening was a book called How to Love by the Zen Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh.
Mhm.
And then the third book that I use as inspiration is called All About Love, and it's by Bell Hooks. And basically, when I was reading these books, I was writing, and I was writing about personal experiences. And so each song on the album is inspired by a quote from one of those books.
Wow.
And it's also obviously inspired by a real life experience. So
Amen.
about Clumsy in particular, there was two quotes from Thich Nhat Hanh's book How to Love that inspired that particular song. One is, and I don't remember exactly at this particular moment, but he uses the word clumsy. And I thought that was just such a good word. Like as a writer, when I read, I like to circle words that I just think are interesting words, that are just like, that just say a lot with a little. And I feel like clumsy is one of those words. And he basically said, even if we are trying to love someone the right way, if we don't know what we're doing in our clumsiness, we will hurt them. Right.
Wow. That's so true, man.
It's
That's
so
so
true.
crazy. Even
And
behind your best intentions, even if you like really intend like, but you didn't read the manual yet. So you're gonna just you're doing this a gamble almost, you know?
yeah. And then the other quote, which I honestly almost took exactly and just put it in the song, was if you don't know how to love, you will wound the person that you love,
Hmm.
which, is just another way of saying the same thing. So that's what Clumsy came out of. It came out of, realizing when I first dating my husband that I was being a little clumsy with his heart, that I wasn't taking the care. I wasn't being as kind with my words as I should be. I
Wow.
wasn't being as loyal as I should be sometimes, in terms of just, especially like I was in my 20s and, I was just dating people. And then I found this one guy and him and I were clicking. But, it took me a while to like be like, I need to cut out all these other dudes.
The continuity of this album is crazy, and the way that it trends off or it just forwards into the next song, because the next song is "Set Myself Free."
Hmm.
So with being clumsy in the past life, right, and then realizing it, being more self-aware, when did you come to the point of forgiving yourself?
It's constant. It's an everyday thing, you know? Um, I think so. Set Myself Free, the lyrics to that song, at least the first verse, came exactly out of my journal. And I found this letter that I had written to myself, like in what year was that? It must have been 2014, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had just written like, I forgive myself for this. I forgive myself for this. I forgive myself. I was just making a list of things that I just was shaming myself for, that I was feeling guilty for, that were holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that song also was kind of based around this quote from Bell Hooks, um, where she talks about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness and how it can, make a way for us. And so I wanted in that song, like originally the first verse was just about me, like I forgive myself for this. I forgive myself for that because I know that I deserve that. Like I know that and that's the last line of the song too, is that's what I deserve. I know that I deserve forgiveness. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times that's what people they don't think they're worthy of it.
That's true.
Um,
Very
they
true.
don't think they're worthy of the forgiveness. And then in the second verse, I wanted to flip their perspective. And so I started talking about somebody else. And in this particular case, it's somebody that I used to date, and we just had a very contentious relationship, and there was a lot of pain there. And I realized that me holding on to that, to, in some way in my head, wanting to turn him into an enemy or turn him into, just like the villain in the story, was also really holding me back, you know and it
Wow.
was it was replaying a story of pain that was just not serving me in any way. And so I wanted to forgive him too, like I I forgive you. Like, I don't need you to be a part of my life anymore, but I do forgive you because I still love you, as a person, as a human being. I love you. I forgive you. I don't want you to live in shame, and I don't want to live in pain. So, he has no idea that song's about him. I don't even know if he's ever heard it, but for me, it was important to let that go. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. First of all, shout out to Terrell Siobhan, I think that's her name,
Yes.
who directed your visual EP. That was great. It's a great visual EP because when this song plays, it's like when you're going to that river or you're going to that lake or something like that. It's kind of like rinsing yourself almost of like the past, I guess, or like just like getting a new kick on just everything and just forgiving yourself, releasing all that stuff, and now looking forward, looking on to what's to come.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, thank you for shouting out Terrell. So, for anyone that doesn't know, Awakening Part One is an album of, audio music that you can listen to, but we also created a visual EP that's on YouTube that you can watch, that really like takes the songs and turns them into one narrative story. And I
And
think that when I sat down with her, it was around this time last year actually that her and I met up for the first time and kind of talked through what we wanted to do. And I feel like she really grasped, the the central themes of the songs and how we could visually portray that. So yeah, this song is really about, I mean, I didn't call the song Forgiveness. I called it Set Myself Free, because that's really the intention of it, is through forgiveness you can free yourself from the shame, from the guilt, from the pain. It's just like that. Letting go is so necessary. So the album really is a song about healing. I think everything I write is really about healing. So
moving on to No Room for Fear. So, can I take you to the church house real quick? Can I take you to church real quick? Because as soon as I saw the title of that song, First John chapter 4, verse 18 came up, and it goes a little something like this. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. Have you ever heard that before?
I don't know if I have actually.
Yeah, I didn't mean to go deep. I didn't mean to go biblical on you real quick, but
No, that's beautiful though. That's beautiful. I'm really happy you shared that with me.
the lines that come out that just jump onto me when I listen to No Room for Fear is everything that worries me is out of my hands. So the question is, can I deal with me so I don't slow down the growth in you and me? So I'll let go of control and fall into what's meant to be. Because there's no room for fear when you're loving me. And the ad libs are crazy. The ad libs are awesome. I was like, man, like I really love that. I love the ad libs because you're just free, and you're just like hitting us from each angle with the ad libs. But it's great. And I was just like, dang. So where were you at when No Room for Fear came along, and what was your thought process? What was your heart?
I was actually backstage at the Met, the Metropolitan Gallery of Art, had a what did they call it? It was like a day of talks and panel discussions to celebrate Carrie James Marshall, who's a really important and famous Black American artist. And he is the first Black artist to ever have a retrospective of his work exhibited at the Met. And so they did this huge day to celebrate that. And my sister, she was doing a talk and a performance, and I was performing with her that day.
Gotcha.
And so we did our performance, and then I was standing in the back and I was watching another performer named Amani Uzuri, who is one of my very favorite performers and singers. She has a song called Sun Moon Child that it's one of my favorite songs, and I performed it a few times as well. She's an amazing person, has one of the best laughs ever too. Anyways, so I was watching Amani Uzuri perform, and I went back to the green room, and I was sitting in there, and yeah, first verse and chorus just came to me.
Mm-hmm.
The first line of the song is, I saw you strolling from afar, the dip, the glide, the bounce, which is about my husband, because he
Come on.
has like, I just love his walk. He's a really cute walk. And about maybe a week or two before that event, maybe even a month before that event, he had met me at the airport. And at the airport in the baggage claim, it's like real long. So
Yeah.
I was watching him walk from real far away, and I was like, he's got such a sexy walk. So that's what the song is about.
See, that's how you know. No, let me just say this. That's how you know you in love. When you looking at and appreciating somebody's walk. You can just walk the right way and just
Mhm.
sets my heart ablaze. So yeah, I appreciate that. Where did acceptance come from?
So this is actually the first thing that I wrote with this album in mind. So I knew I wanted to write this album that was based on these books. And so I had dropped my husband off at work one day, and I went to go eat lunch at this little Japanese spot. And it was almost empty too. I don't know why. I guess it was a late lunch. And I was sitting there, and I had brought my notebook, and I had brought the book How to Love. And I was just going through looking at the different quotes that I had underlined, the things I had underlined. And he has a few passages in there. One, he talks about deep listening and the importance of truly being present with someone and listening to them. Most of the times when people come to you for advice, they really just want you to be quiet and listen. They don't, the thing is, they already know in their heart and mind, they already know, right? They just need the space, the safe place to like explore that. Seeking to understand is a way that you love people, right? It's an act of love. So the first words I wrote for the album were, I offer you my ear, creating this space of, I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to listen. I'm going to seek to understand you. I'm going to be patient with you. If you want to laugh, we'll laugh. If you want to cry, I'll hold you. I'm going to be silent. I'm just going to listen and be present with you. Like, I offer you this space, all forgiveness and grace. Like that's really the sentiment of the
That's a
of
good
the
line too.
song.
Yeah, that's a dope line too.
I like that line too, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And I want to say too, my mom pointed out something when the album came out, which I hadn't thought about before, but when she listened to it, that's her favorite song on the album, Acceptance. and she said, I just love this song. It's like a Black love anthem. And
It is though.
I was like, well, I haven't thought about it that way before. And she was like, yeah. She says, you said the world is not, doesn't accept you, but I accept you, you
Amen.
know? Like that's Black love. And I was like, man, you're right, mommy. You're right.
Cecily, I have one last question for you. I'm really interested because I ask all my guests this question. When it's all said and done and it's time to hang up the microphone, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be?
I think I just want to be remembered for being loving. That's the main thing, to my family, first and foremost, and of course to, anyone who interacts with my music, who loves my music. I just want them to, be able to listen to it and think of good times, and feel in a good space. So, yeah, I just want to be remembered for being loving.
Definitely. All right, I'll take that. And now we're going to get into Clumsy. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. Off of her brand new album, Awakenings Part 1, with Clumsy, here's the one, the only, Cecily Bumbray.
The more I want it, the more they tremble, insecure from the start.
For everybody that doesn't know, Cecilia's project out right now. It's called Awakening, Part 1. Please
Part
go
2
get it.
coming soon.
I'm sorry. Is there part 2 coming? Is that
Oh,
word?
yeah, that's why I named it Part 1, because there's a Part 2 that I've already written, but you know, COVID.
Right, right.
But soon.
It's coming out soon. Listen, it's available on all streaming platforms, and y'all need to go get it. You're doing a disservice to yourself if you're not going to get it. Again, can't thank you enough, Cecily. I hope you have a really good day, and God bless you, and God bless your work for sure.
Thank you so much, Isaiah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take
All right.
care.
Take care.